Chapter 4, page 12 of the Standing Rule of the Senate. Mr. President, Chapter 4 speaks about privileges. Order 10, I read, any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring a contempt or a breach of privilege has been committed, or referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, or if the matter is raised in Committee of the Whole of the Senate, the chairman shall leave the chair to report progress. Mr. President, the matter arising has to do with one of our colleagues that granted a television interview concerning the Ninth Senate, which I was a member. On this said program, the distinguished senator of the Federal Republic told the whole world that we looted our offices, that chairs, tables, televisions were carted away by the senators. I feel very strongly about this, and I believe my privileges have been breached as one of the distinguished senators that served in the Ninth Senate. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, this is a very serious matter. Our colleague was speaking to Nigerians. He was addressing Nigerians about this Senate. And knowing fully well that it's not possible for any senator to move a pin out of this National Assembly without the express approval of the management. Mr. President, the procedures are clear. At the end of our tenure, all the assets in our office will be verified by the management. We will sign for it. And if anything is not complied with, or any asset is missing, your severance payment will not be paid. That is the rule. And on the other items, it is expected that at the end of every four years, many of the items that we have in the office, that depreciable value will be zero. And it is upon the determination by the management of the Senate that any decision will be taken concerning any item of your office can either be forwarded to you or not. But for our colleagues who came into the Senate and found out that there are one or two items that are not there, no senator at any point in time have the prerogative of looting his or her own office while serving. We are respectable people, and we believe we should live above all. That comment, I feel strongly about it. I feel my privilege has been breached, and I need the protection of this Senate and other colleagues of ours who serve in the Ninth Senate, and to call upon the distinguished senator who made this comment to address the Senate as to why he has to go that route without seeking for further clarification from this Senate. Or else, he should come up, stand up, and apologize publicly to this Senate and to Nigerians for that comment that has been made. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I so submit.
Little media. And I even thought that it is fake news. So I'm surprised that my colleague is bringing it here, which means that it is true. Mr. President, that statement is misleading. It's very defamatory. And we will not take it as a Senate. I equally serve in the Ninth Senate, and I know that the content of that interview is false. And I support what my colleague has said. Whoever it is should publicly apologize. And if he is here, he should stand up and apologize. Otherwise, we will refer this matter to the Ethics and Privileges Committee.
There is a point of order.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Mohammed Ali Ndube, representing Borno South, and by God's grace, the Chief Whip. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, I stand before you as one of your colleagues to appeal. Yes, such things happen, but then I'm begging.
Please read the order. Yeah, distinguished Senator Ndume, you just a point of order. So please, read the order that tells you to beg.
I come under Order 24 and 42 and 51 and 50. No, but let me read. Let me read all of them, Mr. President. Order 24 says, there shall be a chief whip of the Senate. The chief whip shall maintain order and decorum in the Senate, and then manage the affairs of his parties during meetings, organize the party in a divisional debate, arrange the business and the flow of the Senate, and then Order 42, under personal explanation, by indulgence of the Senate President and leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make personal explanation, although there should be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate upon distinguished colleagues. All I'm making is we should go to closed session to discuss this matter. I so move.
Any seconder?
In view of the very sensitive nature of this discussion, I second the motion that we should go into a closed session to discuss further.
Distinguished colleagues, and seconded that we go into a closed session to discuss these issues so that we don't end up watching our dirty linen in the public. Those who are in support of the motion and seconded, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it. Yes.
Under Order 10 of the Senate rule, that says, any senator disorderly rise, and he shall by the rule of the Senate, because of the importance of the matter for us, because it touches our privileges. He has moved. Officially support the motion because of the essential and importance of the subject matter.
Distinguished colleagues, we have a lot of things on our order paper, and we will not waste a lot of time on issues that could be resolved in 1 minute. Distinguished Deputy Senate President, please say something.
Please permit me to remind all of us that all items in the office of each senator, every year such item depreciates to the tune of 25%. So at the end of 4 years, the book value becomes 0. So every senator is given an opportunity through
formal letter written to each and every one of us. This is a tradition. A tradition every 4 years that's always done. Then you are given the right to either accept or reject the offer to purchase those items. So when you register your acceptance, you can now go away with those items. And you pay. You either pay through cash or through your severance gratuity. And they will remove money automatically for your severance gratuity. And such monies are taken directly to the consolidated revenue fund of the federal government. So those items that were removed legally. And it's tradition in every end of every Senate. So it's possible because our colleague is new, Mr. President. Our colleague is new. He doesn't understand this tradition in the Senate. He's new. Even when excuse me. Even a senator the other time made such mistake, but he didn't go to press. He came and asked us. We told him this is a tradition. And he said, oh, that's okay. And he waited, and those items were supplied. As we speak, the management of the National Assembly is preparing to supply those items, new items, to the offices. So what happened was that our colleague did not know this tradition. And it was a mistake on his part. So what I think, naturally, any human being can make a mistake. And I think having known this, I know he's a leader, he's somebody who have chaired the largest party in Africa some time back, former president of NLC, former governor of a very, very strategic state in this country. So I know anybody can make mistake, and I know he will apologize for this mistake. I know he will apologize. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, distinguished President, your explanation seems to be like an education to almost all of us, particularly the fact that over 70% of us are new in the current 10th Assembly. When I recall when I was in the 8th Assembly, I don't think I signed that form, but my money was deducted from my severance gratuity and sent to the consolidated revenue account of the Federation. So I would like to find out from you, in the event that I took nothing away because I did not take anything, and I did not also sign a form that I was taking something, and yet my money was taken, is there any remedy for people like us? Because, so I would like to meet you privately, since you are almost a landlord in the Senate. You've been in the National Assembly from 1999, and so I would like to meet you to also express my grievances that deduction was not merited because I did not take anything away from the, and I know many senators did not take anything away, and except those who agreed to the budget items. That's what you are explaining. There are still a lot of offices that nothing was taken away because they did not sign those forms and they did not purchase those items. So now that it is clear to the public that there was no vandalism, there was no looting, and there is a practice because as a result of depreciation, and it is optional that you either buy those things or you leave them when you are going. Maybe we can give an opportunity now to our colleague, distinguished Senator Oshiomhole, to say something, and we bring this matter to an end. Distinguished Senator Oshiomhole.
And my distinguished colleague senators, let me state at the outset, I have huge respect for each and every senator, not only in the 10th Assembly, but for anyone who has been a senator of the Federal Republic, because I know I will not contest election into a house that I have no respect for.
my view, facts are sacred, opinion is free. I did not address the social media. I spoke to a responsible and a respected national television network. And I believe that as senators, we understand the context in which the statement is made. The question was put to me by the TV host as to what justified the huge sums of appropriated for the comfort of members of the National Assembly.
Distinguished Senator Oshiomhole, you are talking about huge sums of money. I don't think we have reached, because of the economy of the country, I have not seen any huge amount appropriated for the comfort of members of the National Assembly. Rather, what I've seen is a percentage amount that will enable them to carry out their oversight functions. I'll give you an example. Most of the vehicles that had been used for 4-8 years are depreciated almost to zero value. So if we need to replace those vehicles for oversight functions, you can't even go for oversight without having vehicles. And most of the offices, for those who opted to buy the boarded items, computers, and the television sets and others, need to be replaced. So those things are not for comfort. They are actually meant to assist distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly to carry out their constitutional responsibilities. This is a very major arm of government, and the only arm of government that signifies democracy all over the world. So there is no way you can come here without the tools for you to carry out their job, not for their comfort. You may wish to rephrase your statement.
That was the allegation against the Senate. I didn't say that is the truth. And that, in my opinion, I was defending the collective integrity of this House. That is what I said. I didn't say that is what we did. So when you tell me that we did, of course I know. I know we did not make such appropriation for our comfort. I know it. And that is why I try to make some explanation. Just give me a few minutes and I will be done.
You are protected.
Very much for the protection. Small people need even more protection. Mr. Senate President and my distinguished colleagues, I want to repeat that I have respect, huge respect, for each and every member of this Senate, not only of the 10th Senate, of all those who have been senators since 1999 and even before then, as evidenced by the fact that the journey to this place is not easy. Number two, in my view, what I did, and I'm happy it is recorded, at no time in the course of my reply to the allegation made by the TV host, at no time did I say that senators looted their office. I never said so. And I will challenge with respect to the mover of the motion to show that clip of the channel's television. What I said was this. I said offices were vandalized. And Mr. President, except that people didn't take our informal chat seriously, I've had calls in your office, in the office of the Deputy Senate President, and in other offices where we agonize over the state of our offices. And I said, on that television, I said, many senators here have had to use their money to procure basic needs for their office, because the ones that were there before were removed. I never imagined even now. I do not believe that a senator will vandalize his own office. Why? So how can anybody accuse me that I accuse senators of vandalizing offices? I have huge respect for every senator. And even if I thought that senators did it, I have the privilege in this house, whether in the open or closed section, to ask those questions as to why senators should be vandalizing their offices. I have never thought so, and I never said so. What I did say is that, contrary to the general impression, that even before receiving our salaries, some of us have had to spend personal resources to repaint our offices. And I repainted my office, Mr. Senate President. I bought new carpet for my office. I bought a new television set for my office. Somebody donated a copier for my office, including computer, to be able to function. These are the things I said. And I said many senators have gone through this. And yet, we are being accused of appropriating money for ourselves. And I said, this is not true. How can this honest attempt to explain a reality be perceived as disrespecting the Ninth Assembly? I have personal friends in the Ninth Assembly. Incidentally, Mr. President, I am on record as chairman of APC as defending senators who were elected to the Ninth Assembly, not out of eye service, out of conviction. And I defended them against powerful forces like governors. So how can I disrespect people that I...
Distinguished Senator,
Colleagues, is order 10 that I've been trying to talk about with the Senate President. By the wisdom of the members that drew up this order, Order 10, read out by distinguished Senator Olamilekon, was not complete. It says, and I want to read, any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that a contempt or breach of privilege has been committed, or referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privilege. But if the matter is raised in the Committee of the Whole, the matter shall, the chairman shall leave the chair and report progress. The normal thing to do here, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is to refer the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges. They will give the two sides opportunity to discuss the matter and come up with it. Instead of us here arguing and trying to wash our dirty linens outside. And that's why I earlier proposed that we go into closed session.
Are you moving a motion that the matter be referred to Committee on Ethics and Privileges?
I'm not saying that, but Mr. President, this matter is not something that when the mover of the motion raised it, I believe he is not raising it because he wants judgment or case to be between him and the person, but to resolve the matter amicably. And I was thinking that the distinguished senator will stand up, and now he said he was quoted out of context and apologized to the committee, and we move on.
Mr. President, my dear respected colleague, I'm Suleiman Kawu Sumaila Wayapa, representing Kano South Senatorial District. Mr. President, my dear colleague, I think we are overplugging this issue. The distinguished Senator Adams Oshiomhole defended his action, and it shows that he do it to defend the National Assembly or the Senate. Mr. President, I think there is no need for him to either apologize or no need for us to refer the matter to the Committee of Ethics and Privilege. It shows that there is he committed an offense. He explained himself. We are all colleagues, and we all understood clearly his mission and his intent to defend the National Assembly. Mr. President, there are so many issues before us. Let us concentrate on those things that will bring peace, harmony, advance the cause of Nigeria, not wasting our time on just a mere say.
Sir, distinguished Senator Kawu. Noted. Distinguished Senator Oshiomhole, you may wish to conclude.
My distinguished colleagues, I'm sure with profound respect, having listened to my explanation, you know that if anybody got the impression that I accused the senators, that was certainly not the intention, and that was certainly not what I said. But for those who feel that that's my comment, which was meant to protect our collective image, was offensive, of course I apologize. Because I cannot leave the comfort of my home to go and abuse a house in which I am a member.
Thank you very much. Distinguished Senator Oshiomhole, the operative offended that you have apologized. Your apology is hereby noted and the matter is concluded. Leader of the Senate.